Well, as the migrant camp was being dismantled in Calais, France's ambassador to London spoke to me in her only interview on British television. I asked her whether relocating the migrants to other locations in France wasn't just taking the problem somewhere else rather than tackling it.
Well, we know we prepared that very carefully, and in fact they will be relocated, not in camps, but in some centres, and we will convince them to accept asylum in France. You know, the problem is, well, those people come from Eritrea, come from Sudan, sometimes from Afghanistan. They don't speak French, they don't have family members in France. So that's the reason why they wanted to go to the UK. Since it is clear that they can't go through, that Calais is now a blind alley, so we hope that they will accept asylum in France.
But there are some who are determined to come to the UK. They'll come to Calais again or to Dunkirk, wherever there is a means of getting across the water to the UK.
Well, I hope they won't. Anyway, we will keep policemen there in Calais, so we will use the necessary means for that. Because we think it's a humanitarian question. As you mentioned before, the conditions in the camps were squalid, and it's so it's better for them to be in more comfortable centres and to be helped with their administrative procedures.
Are you worried about a hard core of people who remain in those camps, who don't want to leave voluntarily, who are determined to come to the UK, who are going to not leave? What's going to be your government's policy in the face of such protests?
Well, the government policy is to clear the camps and not to keep the camps in Calais. That's the position, to dismantle it forever.
Sylvie Bermann, the French ambassador, talking to me a little earlier today. Well, the UN has released some new figures on the migrant crisis today, saying fewer people have tried to get to Europe from Africa this year, but crossings have become more dangerous. The numbers of people attempting to cross fell from over 1 million in 2015 to just under 1/3 of a million. But despite far fewer crossings, more than 3,700 lives have already been lost this year, almost exactly the same number for the whole of last year. On average, 1 in every 88 journeys now ends in death. UNHCR says there's lots of reasons for this. The North Africa to Italy route, taken by more than half, have taken this year's is notoriously perilous. People smugglers are today often using lower quality vessels, and several incidents seem to be connected with travel during bad weather, and smugglers are switching tactics to avoid detection.